Okay, not sure how well you can see me in this. It's Monday morning, February 10th. Donna from Green Dragon Hostel just dropped me off at Unicoi Gap. Start our next 17 miles of the Appalachian Trail. We're gonna go to Dix Creek Gap. Not sure where we're gonna stay tonight. We're just gonna kind of play things by ear, swing it a little bit. There's the trailhead, elevation 2949. I think we're heading for somewhere around 4,500 feet very soon. And here we go. Now we got our first watering hole. I've still got water, so I'm not going to stop right here. I'll make it a couple miles down trail and get some water. About halfway up this first hill, about 1,000 feet. We've climbed about 500 till we get over our first knob. And we've still got another couple hundred feet before we get to the top of this one, this first one. Rocky Mountain Trail. We're getting there. Be nice if these clouds would burn off and we can get some views. How's everybody doing today? I think I got my warm up in. I'm feeling just fine. I hope you are too. All right, here we are. We made it 1,100 feet up, about 1.1 miles from the trailhead. It's the top of Rocky Mountain. Sure, without the haze out there, be some pretty fabulous views. I just stepped off trail to come a couple extra feet up and touch the top of it. Where that log is about the highest point it looks to be. A little campsite, a fire ring over here. This would be a terrific place to camp on a beautiful day. It is a beautiful day, just not all that sunny. You can see all that haze out there. I think that's going to burn off. Hope it's going to burn off at some point. I'm not a weatherman, but it's all still amazing nonetheless. Now back down almost 1,000 feet to go back up almost 1,000 feet. That's what they mean when they talk about those pointless ups and downs. Next spring is about 2.3 miles away. Feeling pretty good on water. I'm going to sit down, grab an energy bar, some electrolytes, and be on the way. All right, let me check my watch here. 10:53. We've been hiking for about 2 hours and 20 minutes. Took a little break up top in Rocky Mountain. Now we're down. I think we're coming up to the sign for Indian Grave Gap. I wish I'd looked up the history of this to give you guys a little input before I got here, but I didn't. And cell service, I'm on AT&T here. Verizon seems to work pretty well for folks, but AT&T, from what I understand, is kind of marginal until you get around Virginia somewhere. So I don't have the convenience of just typing it in and getting a history lesson, but that's what you folks can do at home because you got more reliable service than I do. So Indian Grave Gap is where we're at. This is our, we did our pointless up. This is our pointless down, and we got another probably 1,000 foot pointless up before things get a little bit better for the next few miles. But that's where we're at, and thanks for coming along. and joining me. Okay, we're still at Indian Grave Gap here. Meant to mention that the GPS has traveled about 2.7 miles, so 8:30 to what 10:40, 2.7 miles up that 1,100 feet ascent and back down. I saw this sign over here. I wanted to catch and see if this has got any information on it. Okay, this is Andrews Cove Trail, 2 miles to Andrews Cove Campground. Okay, little Blue Blaze Trail to a campground. No information on the Indian Grave Gap name, so we're just gonna keep on trucking. Gotta go across the street, and White Blaze picks up right over there. Well, that's an interesting tree. We're not too far from that Trey Gap sign, which is just about where that White Blaze is. Just filmed that and passed it. And we came upon this interesting tree. It's just kind of branched out to an elbow and back up. That's pretty cool. One of the subscribers mentioned about the other bent tree that I had a couple videos ago. Could have possibly been an old Native American directional sign to bend the trees like that. I have no idea. It sounded plausible, but this just seems like it would be totally plausible. It just strikes me as incredibly unnatural, but incredibly cool at the same time. So there you have it. Off we go. Okay, looks like we find ourselves at Trey Mountain Road. There's a crossing here. We keep going up about 3.6, 3.7 miles from where we started. And okay, and it's 11:31, so we've been on 3 hours. Lots of uphill. I think we're doing good time for all the uphill that we've got. It's a little slow going for me, but let's keep on moving. Trey Mountain Road. Okay, we got another 600 feet or so to climb. I'm guessing that might be it right there ahead of us. Get to the top of Trey Mountain. There's the view we've got right now. Still a lot of clouds, a lot of haze. Pretty cool today. So it feels like it's about 45, maybe 48. You keep moving, especially uphill. You're gonna stay warm. I just got my sun shirt on. I don't need to put my windbreaker on or a puffy vest or anything like that right now. Just a real quiet, peaceful day. Haven't seen or heard much in the way of birds or squirrels or anything. Just a real serene day. I'm enjoying this. Haven't got too tired. My uphills have been nice and easy, one step at a time. Been real careful on my downhills. Treat them as if I got all day long to get down them and plan each step without being in too much of a rush. I don't want to take another fall like I did the other day. But that's it. Just kind of in the middle of the day. I'm hoping I can get up there and start making a few more miles in a little better time. I say no rush, but just have easier terrain to walk on. So let's get to it. Or should I say let's step to it. Trey Gap. Indian Grave Gap 1.7. You guys remember that place, huh? We were there just a little while ago. Okay, this must be the road through Trey Gap. Oh man. This must be a popular spot. There's a lot of trash here. That's too bad. That's really too bad. Big old Forest Service roads. Well, off we go. All right, why don't you all join me in celebrating our arrival at the top of beautiful, sunny, and scenic Trey Mountain. I believe we found some clouds. There's the Trey Mountain tent site we saw on the far out map. We're now heading down off of Trey Mountain. Okay, we just recorded that video coming down off of Trey Mountain. Maybe not quite a quarter mile back. And here's the blue blaze for Trey Mountain shelter and water. We got water and we're not ready for shelter, so we're gonna keep on going. Okay, so we've been up and over Rocky Mountain and Trey Mountain. I had to check the map to see what this next little set of hills we're traversing is called. But I've had the question asked quite a bit. Why are you doing this so early this year? And I answered in the comments on one of the videos when somebody asked. And the way, I know why I'm doing it, but it seems to kind of be the reason a lot of other people are doing it. They say this is kind of the old guys' time of the year, where there's not a whole lot of traffic out on the trail. I say old men and women. There's middle-aged and older adult men and women pretty prolific out here on the trail right now. Pretty good numbers. Seems to be what I encounter between the hostels and on the trail. But so I think probably the main reason is there is no main reason. There's several benefits. There's good things and there's bad things to it. One of the good things is the absence of the green tunnel. So even though you see lots of trees still, it's really nice to be able to see the ridge lines and the views. Another reason would be just simply not getting mixed in and run over by the bubble. The tenting sites, camping sites get crowded, shelters get crowded, hostels get crowded, hotels get crowded. I think the older you get, it's not that you become antisocial. I think you just mature in your ways a little bit, and that's just it. They become your ways. You know, when I was in my 20s, you know, I wanted to hang with the gang, and we all wanted to do the same thing. It was our way. And now I just kind of grown out of that, and it's nice to have the peacefulness and the serenity of the trail just kind of to myself for the most part, most days. It's really enjoyable. Been able to make some nice acquaintances with Bucky over at Above the Clouds hostel, because they weren't so busy over there. And same for Donna and Bill and Nimrod over at Green Dragon hostel. They're not so incredibly busy right now with less people out there on trail. But then the people that are on trail, I seem to have a little more in common with. You know, don't get me wrong, I'm 52. My brain, I feel like I'm 18. My body, well, we won't get into that. Some days it feels a little bit young, but most days it feels probably older than I actually am. But, you know, in spirit, I'm still a young guy. I like to have fun, joke around. And the people that are out on trail right now are those people that kind of get the same things that I get. I've met some younger people out on trail. Met a couple of really nice couples, a couple of really nice younger individuals. You know, not saying anything disparaging about any particular age group or group of people. You know, we just go through different phases in life, and everything's a little different for all of us. If you've heard the term different strokes for different folks, that's kind of what it means. One of the things that's not so great on the trail, the thing that prompted me to get my camera out and start recording this. You see all these leaves on the trail from last fall. So many leaves on so many rocky portions of the trail. As you're going downhill, you're just taking bangers in the ankles all the time. I've got a little tenderness on the upper left side of my left foot because I keep stepping on these rocks and bending my left foot towards the outside, and I haven't had enough of a break from stepping on rocks to give it a break and start feeling better. Every time it starts feeling a little bit better, I step on another sideways rock I don't see in these leaves. So if you're coming out here, just, you know, do the things it takes to take care of yourself. Don't be in a hurry. Look before you take a step, and just try to do those things that are going to prevent injury while you're walking around here, because injury can happen and end your hike real quick. I've already seen a handful of people turn around and go home because of something that went wrong and they had to end their hike. So anyway, that's enough of my diatribe. If you got questions, please leave them down in the comments. I'd love to put together a list of questions and just kind of do a little question and answer session. I've had a few questions asked, and if there's anything I can answer for you guys, I sure would love to. I'm not going to lie to you if I don't know. I'm just going to tell you I don't know. But if there's anything you're wondering, ask away. I appreciate your subs. I appreciate your comments. I appreciate your support of this channel. I started out doing just for friends and family, but seems to be a lot of interest, and well, I'm interested in you guys too. Okay, so I had a couple more things I forgot to add. I was talking about the pros of coming out here early, and I guess I got the selfie thing figured out too, so you guys don't have to stare at the leaves while I'm walking along. Some other YouTubers that got out there real early, early numbers in the first of the year, they had some great video coverage when the real cold weather was here of the I guess they call them ice falls, where you're walking on the trail and you've got the water just dribbling over the rocks. It's not really a waterfall, but as that keeps freezing and more water keeps pouring over it, it's had some absolutely gorgeous icy outcrops on the rocks, like ice falls. So there's another good reason for coming out to see stuff that you may never ever see again if you're from the south or not from the north. I've been from the north my entire life. I grew up in Flint, Michigan before I moved to Alaska in 2001 at age 28. So I've seen all that stuff, but it never ceases to just mesmerize me, the beauty in nature. So that's one. The other thing is, I had originally planned my trip for February 8th. That was before the hurricane came through, Helene, back in October. And I didn't think that there was going to be any trail. It didn't look like it, so I canceled my trip. And then looked like there might be. They're doing some cleanup, but I think I covered this in another video. I was going to do some road tripping with a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, and he had some medical issues come up. Turned out he couldn't do the road trip, so instead of doing the road trip around America by myself, I figured I'd go ahead and bump up the trail date. I was gonna move it to April 24th after he and I got done traveling around, then come out to trail. But once he couldn't make it and I saw people were getting on trail early, I just said to heck with it. Let's get down there and do it. So I'm set for January 24th. You guys know the saga with package deliveries and mismanufactured tents and everything else. Finally got on trail the 29th. I've had 2 zeros for my Achilles, hit above the clouds. I took a 0 yesterday on Super Bowl Sunday to do my taxes, not for a Super Bowl. I'm a Lions fan, truth be told, so once Lions were out of it, I didn't really much care. So anyway, just wanted to add that into what I talked about earlier. And we're gonna go over the Little Bald Knob, I think it's called. It's right after Trey Mountain. You can look it up. Well, see ya. Okay, we're coming off a Young Lick. That's what I was trying to think of earlier. I couldn't remember the name after Trey Mountain. Young Lick. We're coming off of. We got to go up Round Top. That's about 350, 400 feet of elevation gain over a mile. And from where we are now, we have 2.5 miles to Addis Gap, where our camping tent site is at. So day's almost over. Got about an hour or so, a little over an hour and a half maybe. It's 4 o'clock. I'm hoping to be into camp by 5:30. So that's where we're at. And unless I see something spectacular, I may not record much more because I just want to get to camp at this point and make some dinner and get my camp shoes on. Let's see, we got another sign up here. Let's see what this says. Swag of the Blue Ridge. Okay, I didn't see that on the map, but I've seen that in a couple other videos. Right there around the bend is where we come up with the top of the trail for Dismal Mountain. We've got another half mile, 3/4 of a mile downhill, and we'll be at Addis Gap where we're gonna camp tonight. I'll show you guys the campsite when I get set up, and then we'll call it a day. 5:43, half mile from trail. Tired, feet are sore, ready for some dinner. And there's a tree down. Yeehaw. All right, well, let's get around this and get to camp. Okay, we finally got here to Addis Gap. Set our tent up out here somewhere. This, though, is water half a mile away. I'm glad I've got some water. I'm not hiking a mile round trip for water tonight. I'll get some of that tomorrow. All right, let's get camp set up.